Hi. I've collected a lot of computers over the course of my life. Recently, I've been trying to take an inventory of them and make sense of what I have, see what works, see what doesn't, see what's actually running on it. And I thought it would just be interesting to share that process and a little slice of my life here at home. So, let's start with my daily driver here. This is a System 76 Lemur Pro laptop. It is running Ubuntu Linux 20.10, which you might note is a fairly old version. I could tell a lot of stories about the reason that I'm running that particular version and the jank that I put up with daily, but that's not the main focus of this video. So I have the laptop here. Every once in a while it gets used as a laptop, but most of the time it sits there plugged into several things and is essentially a desktop computer. So a typical day for me would involve using this computer for in the morning and early afternoon, then switching over here around 4 o'clock to record videos. So this is my Let's Play computer. It's running Windows 10. This was a custom build from PC Part Picker that I assembled in, okay, let's see, I need to get some history here. I have detailed notes. It might take me a moment to pull up things that I want to talk about. Alright, so in 2019, I built this computer to replace one that we'll be seeing in a moment, which was my previous recording computer. So all of my Let's Play activities and video editing pretty much happens on that computer there. So again, actual desktop computer set up as a desktop computer. This little tiny display is my second monitor for recording. Then this main one is where I actually view games in full screen usually. And yeah, so that's running Windows 10. It's, I guess, 7 years old now. It's close to time to replace it, but not quite time just yet. So right, this is my workstation, this is my recording station, this is my work station. So Linux is for my personal stuff, Windows is for game recording, Macintosh is for work for money. So on a work day I'll be sitting here and using this, which is a 2015 MacBook Pro. Again, showing its age, but still works great. This is what I use for daily Macintosh work. If I need something a little bit newer, which I don't every day, but occasionally, I have a 2023 M2 Mac Mini here running macOS 14 something, I think. This one runs 10.14. Apple's versioning is funny, but if you know how Mac version numbers work, you'll be able to understand that. It's strange. Anyway, so these are the modern computers that I interact with daily. But what I'm interested in is some of the older ones in my collection. Rarely do I throw anything away, or recycle it, or send it to a new owner. It's happened a couple of times, but most of the time I've kept just about every computer that I've owned. So here, set up kind of in my kitchen, just because this is where I had convenient surface space for it. I have what looks like a Macintosh LC on the front. So the LC is a computer from 1991, I think, 1990 maybe. But on the inside, this is actually something different. Let's see here. So before anything else, let's just start this up and show what that's like. This is a much newer LCD than would be connected to such a computer, but it was a convenient thing that has a VGA connection and a resolution compatible with this. So I'm going to flip a switch back here, make a satisfying click, floppy drive makes a noise, fan comes on. This, I'll show you the inside of this in a second. This doesn't have a mechanical hard drive in it. But yeah, so it boots up nice and fast. Again, no mechanical hard drive, so read times are very quick. This is running some macOS 7, I think. Yes, so history of my computers. My house was always I had a Macintosh family. Didn't get into other operating systems until later on. And yeah, a lot of the old computers you'll see here are Macs. So this was my personal computer that I used all the time when I was, let's see, what age? I don't know, like, I've been trying to figure out the history of these computers, and it's been a puzzle because I don't have great historical records for everything. So this is actually an LC475 on the inside. My estimate is that I got it somewhere around 1995 and kept it for a few years. Okay. I don't know, it's that old. And yeah, it just has all my old stuff on it. This was what my desktop looked like approximately. I had a bunch of games here that I would play all the time. This set of games, this is not the full set. I had more than this on a secondary drive that's not mounted here right now. But these are some of the things I used to play all the time. Anyway, so yeah, this was the main old computer that I've been fixing up and working on and trying to figure out all the things about it. I'm going to turn it off now and open up the lid. Just for proper safety, let's unplug it. And I already have the catches in the lid disconnected. So funny thing about this top case says Macintosh LC in it, and you can see it has those two floppy drive slots because the LC was a Mac that could be shipped without an internal hard drive and could just have two floppy drives. If I look on the bottom, somewhere down here, it's upside down, but that says Macintosh LC2, so that's what the bottom case is. And on the inside, it's an LC475 board. You might notice Apple skipped a few numbers, but 475, I don't know what that number means actually, but it's a more modern, relatively speaking, Macintosh model that has a 68040 processor in it. I believe this might be overclocked to, 33 megahertz, as opposed to the base 25? I'm going to have to double check whether that hardware modification was made, but that's what I remember. So yeah, like I cleaned all the dust out of the fan and sort of cleaned the board. There are some capacitors that may need to be replaced at some point here. Let's see if I can do this here. This is a network card. I'll show you the ports on the back. This display connector is very loose and that just kind of fell out. But yeah, so that's what's on the back of this thing. This is an Ethernet card. If I were to unplug this, it's kind of a pain to do, so I don't want to do it right now. Underneath here is the audio chip, and from what I've heard, there's a capacitor near it that tends to leak over time and cause damage to the board or short certain connections, and audio issues are one of the first signs of that. Did we hear this chime when it started up? I'm not sure if we did. I don't think we did, no. At one point it was not chiming, it wasn't playing any audio, and I suspect that's a symptom of capacitor leakage on the board. So that's a repair that I think I want to do at some point, but I'm not quite ready to deal with it yet. This power supply was a replacement that I got from a compatible computer that we'll see in a second. Anyway, yeah, so the hard drive normally would be here. This is a blue SCSI internal model with a SD card in it that holds all of the data that you saw on screen there when it was running. Wonderful device. Does great things, don't have to deal with mechanical hard drives and all their failures and tricky things, and it's just powered off the SCSI bus, like this power connector. It doesn't even need to be connected to the board just because it uses so little power. Floppy drive needs some work. It doesn't quite do its job. I need to lubricate it. I think I know how that process goes, I just haven't done it yet. Anyway, so that is this computer, which is in pretty good shape and works well, and I have plans for what to do with it. This is tricky to do one-handed. There we go. So yeah, that is my old Mac that I used a whole lot when I was young. Let's go down to the basement, where I have most of my really old hardware. So down here, I just kind of got a big pile of stuff that is hard to keep track of what's where and what's in what shape. This isn't even all of it here. Let's start with the computer that replaced the LC475. So I have a Power Mac 6100/66 here. So switching from 68K processors to PowerPC. This isn't actually my computer, this is a Quadra 605, which, again, funny numbering, but it's basically the same thing inside as the LC475. These bags are a capacitor kit for this power supply, which was in the LC475. It didn't work reliably sometimes, but yeah, I had to swap out the power supplies. If we looked inside this, we'd see basically the same thing as that other computer up there. This is a scanner, not related, don't worry about that. Anyway, so PowerMac 6100. A little more modern, and has different connections on the back. This funny display connector. Well, dang. Okay, well, some brittle plastics. I was just shown that that foot was moments away from destruction. Okay, so careful when you're using these things. That's a weak spot. I will see what I can do to repair that. I've been warned about brittle plastics on these computers. That is a demonstration of why I was warned about such things. So anyway, let's be a little more careful with all of this. Inside here, yeah, problem is I'm holding a camera and doing all of this one-handed. I'm going to slow down and be more cautious. Right, so ports on the back look kind of similar. This is a funny Ethernet port. You need an adapter to actually turn it into the standard, what do they call that, RJ45 jack. This display connector is real weird. I think this was some kind of, I don't remember the full details. That doesn't really want to come off, but this was a type of port that carried, it either had ADB ports on it, or audio, or both, so you'd connect this to a special monitor with extra pins on it that would do some more communication. But this adapter can just go to a standard at the time, Apple Display Connector adapter, which is what I was using up there on the LC475. Anyway, so this has a CD-ROM drive in it. It's a little wider than the computer we were just looking at to accommodate such things. That's the floppy drive. This is a hard drive that does not currently work. I've already resurrected one hard drive of this vintage, and I'm going to try to do the same thing here, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. This has some valuable data on it that I would like to... Sorry, is this the one? Yes, that's the one. Yeah, this has some valuable data, personal data on it that I would like to rescue. So I'll be doing some necromancy with that at some point. Anyway, yeah, so this was my... Man, I'm kind of annoyed about this. Gonna see what I can do about that. It's fine. It was, if it was moments away from happening, it was gonna happen sometime, so I guess I'm glad I caught it on video. So a warning, don't do what I just did there. Handle these things with great care. I'm not clipping down these little plastic clips, because that was another spot I was warned about on a lot of these. There's a metal frame there, so it'll be a lot more durable than the ones that are just plastic, but yeah, having to bend these back to open up the thing is just asking for trouble of this sort. Anyway, so those were the ones I had out and on the table. Here on the floor, just kind of going through my personal history, this computer got replaced with this blue and white Power Macintosh G3. I was trying to figure out the purchase history and like how I came by these computers. It's a mystery up to a certain point. We're getting right about to the transition period where I was working a real job, I had enough money to actually buy these computers new rather than get them secondhand or whatever my family could hand down to me. This one I think was a used purchase, this was definitely a new purchase. So yeah, Power Mac G3, I'm not going to boot this one up because it's not set up to do that. I'll just open it up briefly here. This one, as far as I know, right, there's another piece of broken plastic here that I've taped to the inside. This came off of somewhere, one of these clips someplace broke. I'm not sure which one at this point. Anyway, so this boots and runs, right, the Power Mac 6100 does not because it has a hard drive issue, but if I replace the hard drive, the hardware works. This computer boots and runs. The hard drive in it was wiped at some point for reasons that are lost to time, so this doesn't have any personal data on it anymore. Some kind of ATI graphics card, not sure which it is. Maybe it says on text somewhere that I can't read from this angle. What's this card? That's a SCSI card, that's right, with a real funny connector, so you can connect old-style hard drives and new-style hard drives to this. Right, so this was sort of a bridge computer that can have both a SCSI connection and I think this is, what is this, IDE? I'm not sure at this point. Anyway, so that's the G3. That was my computer for some time. I remember specifically the motivation to upgrade... This isn't going to want to close, is it? There we go. The motivation to upgrade this to the G4 was specifically because of Diablo 2. That game did not perform well enough on this computer, and I wanted a better one, and that was why I bought this. I believe this was the first computer that I got that had, okay, it's a DVD-ROM drive. This was the first one with a disk burner, perhaps, and that was a big deal at the time, because storage space back then was very scarce. And, right, so this is a PowerMac G4 digital audio. It has, let's see if I can do this gently and carefully. So there's something funny about the audio connections here. What is that? That icon. I can't tell from here. Is this an optical audio port, maybe? Anyway, so this did not have a line-in jack or microphone port or whatever you want to call it. And that was kind of a big deal at the time. I was a little annoyed about that, but I put up with it. Ethernet built right in here. Firewire. Remember Firewire? That was the thing. 2 USB ports. This was the first computer I had with USB. Some kind of funny bridge from one graphics card to another here. I don't remember what the story is of that. Nothing else in the rest of the expansion ports. So let's take a look at the inside. So this one, this hard drive was wiped for reasons that I do know. I loaned this to a family member when they needed a computer and had already moved all my personal data off of it, so I don't think I lost anything in the process. This is... That's for a Wi-Fi antenna, or airport as Apple would have called it at the time. What does that connect to? This does not have wireless connectivity, but maybe it just has a cable in here that could connect to something. I don't know exactly where that goes underneath this frame here, but somewhere. Yeah, so here's the hard drive. This hard drive has an issue. I have booted up this computer. It boots, but it makes the loudest, most alarming noise when it tries to. Maybe I'll show that at some point. Doesn't feel like something I should let it do. But if the hard drive's on its way to dying anyway, and it has nothing important on it, I guess it's okay to let it scream and destroy itself. Doesn't feel great, but what am I going to do about that? If the hard drive's dying, then that's just going to happen. Oh, this is dusty. Oof. Here we go. ATI Rage 128 Pro. That's what that GPU is. And what's this card back here? I don't know, some other video adapter, and the two needed to be connected. That's a big heatsink for that G4 processor. Wow. Battery removed, that's another hazard. Yeah, so I watch a lot of retro computer repair videos, and battery leakage and capacitor leakage seems to be the main killer for these old computers. Batteries can be removed relatively easily. Capacitors take a little more work. There's a little push button here. I'm not sure what that does, but that's there. Anyway, so that's the G4 desktop. Okay, that closed up cooperatively enough. So let's leave the realm of Macintosh computers for a moment. It was right around this time. Let me see if I can give you a year. I have a list of all of these computers, when I think I acquired them, and various other notes about their history here. So I think I got this in 2001. Then this computer here, This was a PC that I built from parts ordered online around the same year, a little bit later. Oh, how will I do this? Let's see. That's going to be difficult. I can slide it gently out like this. Eventually. It's just no good place to grip this. So it's just going to have to slide on those rubber feet. Alright, yeah, so this is running Windows 2000. We got these PS2 ports here, USB. What does that say? I don't know, it has some weird symbol on it. Printer. Okay, so this is the serial port. Sorry for the angle here, this is a little off the cuff. Ooh, that's getting rusty. What's with that? This looks like what, S-Video and VGA? Ethernet, audio ports. I don't know what this is about. What is that? Yeah, okay, so again, in the process of taking inventory of these computers, I'm learning what I need to learn. How would I pop this case open? I don't see any screws back here. There they are. But doesn't this just... Is there a way this just kind of pops out? I don't know if I can do it one-handed. Yeah, it's not moving easily. I could get it open if I needed to, but let's not. Anyway, so, as far as I know, this is fully functional. It has very little personal data on it, but at some point I should definitely get it backed up to preserve what little there was. I did not use this computer for very many things. Just a couple of Windows games, and, yeah, not too much. Anyway, so, after that I started buying laptops instead of desktop computers, and all of these bags contain, well, most of these bags contain various old laptops I used to use. So let's see here. This one, I believe, is the direct replacement for that blue and white Power Mac G4. This is a titanium PowerBook G4. Man, I am tempting fate by doing all of this one-handed. We'll get to this computer in a bit. Yeah, fate's already been tempted enough. So right, this thing, G4 laptop from whatever year that was. Try to gently open it one-handed here. This boots and runs. It runs both macOS 9 and 10, and I use it as a bridge computer because it has good ports on it for doing such things. Looks like I got it in 2002. There was a time when I would usually get one new computer per year. Hardware advancements were happening very fast during that era, and I was trying to keep up with them. Spent a lot of money on these things back then, and I don't really regret it. I got to keep all of the things. Let's see, this does not currently have a battery in it. I very much doubt I have a functioning battery for this computer model. But back here there's a little door. Gently, gently. Which hides all of the ports. Is that FireWire, Ethernet, USB, DVI? Huh. S-Video. It looks like an audio jack, but what is that icon? Sorry, I'm not pointing quite at it. And it has a built-in modem, so that's a phone line port. Little sign of the times there. Anyway, yeah, so this is fully functional. I use it for miscellaneous retro computing tasks. This is a good one. So then, oh boy, give me a second. Alright, let's try this another way. There's this cool invention called a tripod. Maybe you've heard of it. So, learning as I go here. Just assessing the damage on the bottom of this poor Power Mac 6100. So, here are the 4 feet that are still intact. This one broke off of this spot right here. Just kind of caught on the edge of the table in a way that I did not expect. So, don't make the mistakes that I'm making here. And right, the video connector comes off like this, pull it out, then it can disconnect. It's like a little plastic collar on it. Still a little stubborn about it. So yeah, that's what the connector looks like. Only has a few pins here for just serving this role. So that goes back in like this somehow. Okay, anyway, so this computer, I remembered how to open the case. These little indentations do pull out this way, but this front has to come off. So do I risk possible plastic damage again? I think I have to. So let's see what happens when I try and pull this off. I know it just comes off from the bottom. Somehow. That's the best place to pull. I remember just kind of grabbing it and pulling at one point. There we go. Alright, well, I didn't hear anything break, so I think it came off clean. Great. Okay, a little bit of dust and insect debris in there. So then either of these panels should just slide this way, I say. Is this one maybe? Oh, here we go. This one's loose. Maybe the other one's held on with screws or something. Okay, so find a place to put this. Alright, how's your view here? You can see the front of that. Doing this all on my own here. Again, learning as I go. Sorry the lighting's not too great. Let's go back to handheld. Somehow. Alright, so here's the inside of that. Big mess of cables here, good grief. Yeah, I kind of remember the process of assembling this. Is this 2 hard drives? What's on front? So I see a floppy drive, I see... looks like 2 hard drives. I didn't realize it had 2. CD-ROM up here. Power connectors, lots of dust. Some kind of graphics card. Can I figure out what that is? From here... no, not really. Yeah, oh, some kind of graphics card. Spiderweb, good grief, dust. Yeah, I haven't been inside this computer in a long time. Anyway, that's what it looks like in there. So I have several bags of different laptops here, and I'm going to get out each one and see what's in it. Alright, so 3 bags on the table here. This one, WWDC 2007. This was an Apple developer conference that I went to. Actually, the first conference of any sort that I ever went to. That was a lot of fun. In here is some sort of MacBook Pro. Maybe? Yeah, MacBook Pro. I wonder which one this is. Well, this is some old MacBook Pro, aluminum body, no battery currently installed in it. There are a few of these. They look very similar and it's hard to tell them apart. I would have to boot it up to figure out which one this is. But anyway, I have some like first generation... I had a first generation MacBook Pro that I think was one of the few computers I ended up selling to someone else because I felt like I was fully done with it. That might be the 2nd or 3rd generation. So let's try. This backpack. Just, I ended up with a collection of, WWDC 09. They would give these out at conferences as free gifts to attendees, free for the price of admission. And my collection of laptop bags and backpacks just turned into permanent storage for old ones. So here's another MacBook or PowerBook. That's right. I don't have my PowerBook G4 of this form factor anymore. Yeah, so if you look closely, I'd have to give you a side-by-side comparison, but I can tell this one's a little older because the top of it is slightly wider right here. The newer one is a little bit narrower. Yeah, this looks like it's in pretty good shape. Pretty sure this boots and runs okay. Alright, last backpack here is something a little different in it. This is not a Mac. This is an IBM ThinkPad T45, I think it is? ThinkPad. Okay, let's see. This one's going to take a little careful handling. I did some work on this computer just recently. T42, that's what it says. Okay. Yeah, so ThinkPad, I've always liked the ThinkPads. They're really well-built laptops. This was before the days of Lenovo, so still IBM branded. Pentium M, something or other. Yeah, just Pentium M. Runs Windows XP. I needed to use Windows XP for some old software, so I booted this one up and discovered it booted, and then the screen, as it started starting up, just told me fan error. So I had to take this thing all apart, replace the CPU fan, which had gone bad. It had previously been very loud, so I'm not surprised that that had gone bad. So anyway, I did a fan replacement in this. It works great. Doesn't have a functioning battery as far as I know. I think there is a battery in there, but it doesn't really hold a charge at all. But I can plug it in and have a Windows XP laptop for my Windows XP needs. And yeah, this one is currently fixed and in good shape. Alright, this last one here is a little bit different. I do not have personal history with this computer. This was a more recent acquisition, at least of mine, though it is much older than the other things that I've shown. In fact, this would be the oldest computer I'm showing here. So this is a Macintosh Portable, given to me by my father, who has worked at many organizations that have various things to do with computers. He kept what he could when they were throwing away old hardware, and has passed some of it on to me. That is how our family was able to have Macintosh computers, which are typically pretty expensive, without actually being wealthy, affluent people. So that had a lot to do with my the course of my life. But anyway, so this is one of the various pieces of hardware he kept. So he called this a portable. This is larger than that LC475 we were looking at. Big, hefty chunk of a machine. I'm trying to get it properly in shot here. This is hard to do. Learning as I go. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so yeah, Macintosh Portable. Not officially a laptop computer, but a computer that can be, I think they call these luggables sometimes. I'm trying to figure out, somehow this presses in to open it? There we go. Yeah. So there's a trackball here. It does not feel good to use. The mouse button's like a little mini spacebar. The spacebar yellows because apparently they use a different chemical formulation for the plastic in the spacebar in particular. It has to be flame resistant when I guess the other keys don't. Ooh, those keys feel nice though. Those are satisfying to press. But this trackball, maybe if I cleaned it, it would be less, it's like scratchy sorta. Anyway, this computer does not power on. And I do not know what's wrong with it. I've heard these are awful to work on. So if I want to fix it, I have a project ahead. Just trying to see if there's an easy way to open it up back here. I know this opens, let's see here. So around back, those are the ports we're looking at. Display, that's not VGA, is it? What does VGA look like? Does it have that pin layout? Huh. Anyway, this feels too old for VGA. So we got a floppy port, SCSI, ADB. This thing is heavy. Holding it like this is not effort-free. Printer, modem, audio, that's power, I guess. Yeah, laptop, that is not. Somehow this cover comes off to expose the insides. Let me see if I can figure that out. Aha, I've found two little buttons here. Perhaps I press these in and, oh, there we go. The case is cracked here, I can see. Let's just be careful. Alright, so we got, let's get a handheld for this. Hard disk, 40 SC, so 40 megabytes, I would assume. And yeah, that's labeled battery. What is this? Presumably there's a battery in there somewhere. Somehow. Just this entire unit, I guess, is the battery. And, okay, I see how that would come out if I wanted to take it out. Obviously the battery is bad, but I think you can boot these up without one. It's just this showed zero signs of life when I plugged it in, which again, don't make the mistakes I'm making. Plugging in an old computer of unknown, oh boy, that's not looking great, of unknown operation status and turning it on is not really the most advisable thing to do. In this particular situation, I decided it was worth the risk because I was pretty sure this wasn't working anyway, and it probably wouldn't damage it further. But yeah, that is not generally advisable. I wonder what this card is. From here, I cannot tell. I don't know much of anything about this model of computer. Anyway, that's the Macintosh Portable. That could be a project someday if I really wanted one. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with this. Alright, two more oldsters to look at, then I think we can get out of the basement. Alright, and one more over there that I want to mention. So this is an Apple II GS, and this is a computer I have a lot of personal history with. Just all of these pieces kind of fit together so nicely, so they sort of stay together, not just the computer on its own. Yeah, so this was, we had Macintoshes at home, we had Apple IIs. This was the Apple II computer that was with me for most of my life. Doesn't have a hard drive in it, so no personal data on here. I do have an external hard drive over here that I have been meaning to resurrect. Funny enough, this is an LC power supply, which was used as a replacement because the internal power supply on this died. I don't know, this is kind of a Frankenstein hard drive. This is another one I want to work on and resurrect. This is a drive I already worked on and resurrected. There's a SCSI Macintosh drive in there. This was the external drive that I used with, let's see if I can, here, I'm tempting fate by doing things one-handed again. Oh, that is stuck. The rubber has stuck itself to the, let's do one at a time. 2GS hard drive, gently, on the floor. And this Club Mac, there we go. Okay, yeah, just the rubber got sticky by sitting there for a while. Yeah, so this is a SCSI enclosure that contains an old hard drive that had all the games that I played on my LC475, and this, where are you now? This poor 6100 that now needs some care. All these computers do in various amounts. Anyway, yeah, so this was a hard drive. I took apart this enclosure, got the actual hard drive out of it, opened it up all the way, and figured out what it was doing inside, why it would not start, made some tweaks, and managed to get all of the data pulled off of this drive. I don't know if the drive still works after that process, but it at least worked well enough for me to get the precious parts of it. So that's a process that I'm planning to do with the internal drive on this PowerMac 6100, and possibly also this external drive for the 2GS. Yeah, so this has like all sorts of parts bolted onto it. This was my father's doing, so I don't really have... Looks like that thing on the right there is where the power cable would have gone in the original enclosure. But yeah, now I would plug in here, and this has wires going inside the case to power it up. It makes noises and sounds like it's going to work. At least last I tried it, which was a while ago. But yeah, so this one's going to need some attention. Let's just leave that there for now. There is lots of stuff I could talk about in this room. Here's the old In the Groove pad I built, but that doesn't have to do with what we're doing today. It's there. It's in my basement. I haven't used it in a while. Here's the actual display. No, this is not the actual display I used with my old Macs. This was a newer acquisition. But yeah, period accurate CRT that can plug in the way that these need to if I don't want to use that LCD I showed you upstairs. VCR if I need to play a videotape. Let's see, this is a 5 1/4 inch floppy drive. These were used, I mentioned this once in another video, these were used for archiving that big box of Apple II floppy disks that I had. Both of these drives died in that process, so these are going to need some maintenance. Then once those two had spent the last of their life, I used this disk 2 disk drive and it got it the rest of the way done. and I have these other spares. I have some 3.5-inch floppy disks that need to be archived, so that is still to go. Anyway, I was trying to talk about this 2GS. So right, the personal data is over there on that drive, but just, this is a computer that I love. This one, as far as I know, works absolutely flawlessly. I've been inside it, I've cleaned it out, I've turned it on a couple of times. This monitor makes a horrible high-pitched screaming sound, if you can hear high enough frequencies, which I still can. It is very unpleasant to use with it. And the display connection is a little bit different. A little bit different from that ADC connector, I think. Let's see, how many pins is that? Okay, this is the actual monitor cable. Is that any different? Doesn't that look the same? Okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Same connection, just... there was some reason I couldn't use video capture on this the same way as on... I think, like, these were VGA compatible in some way. Like, I could use a VGA adapter on that and get a signal out of it, but it didn't work the same here. I would have to try it again to get all the details. Man, you can see the different yellowing on this compared to the monitor. These are the same age. This is the actual hardware that was together, but just the plastic aged in different ways between the two. Anyway, yeah, so that's the 2GS. Get this Mac hard drive out of the way for a moment. Just sit here. Maybe I should put it somewhere where the rubber feet are not on a shelf they're going to be sticking to. So here, this again was a newer acquisition of mine, but even older than that. Another old piece of hardware my father kept around and has now passed on to me. This is an Apple IIe. So an Apple II of some sort, I don't know if it was a 2E or a 2C or just a 2, was the computer that was in our house at the time when I was born. So this or something very similar to it was my first exposure to computing. A computer was in use at the moment of my birth in the room where I was born. My sister was playing Frogger on it apparently. And these clips come up somehow. Maybe I can't do this one-handed. Alright, I got it out of the box. That'll be a little easier. The rest of what was in that box was floppy disk drives. This keyboard has an interesting, unique feel to it. It's hard to describe. Feels pretty good, but not in the... It's like not... It's linear as the key goes down. It doesn't have like a sudden click to it. It's just... Like if I press it softly... I can press it very softly, but if I actually put a little bit of force into it, it feels okay. Anyway, I have preferences about keyboards, so the feel of it is very important to me. So cover comes off, and I don't think I've actually... Yeah, that is very dusty. Oof. Let's not mess with that. I don't believe I have turned on this computer, but these old things are very reliable. I strongly suspect this will work perfectly if I connect it to... I believe I need a composite video signal out of this, because this does not have... Alright, what does this have? Yeah, so composite video here. Some sort of in and out... Is that audio? I don't even know what that symbol is. And what's this? This is... Okay, so this is the joystick port. I see a, like, paddle controllers icon there. Two more ports. There's this one, and then, you know, power, switch, satisfying click. Some sort of card here. Apple 5.25-inch drive. So that's a floppy disk port. SSB 1... No, sorry. What am I looking at? SSB 1. That's the chip. SSB 1. SSB... At the moment I could not tell you what this is, but some sort of connection. Anyway, yeah, so that's the Apple II. This, I guess, is the oldest computer that is currently in my house. So just to cover the last thing in the basement, since we've gone over everything else, this MacBook Pro, this is one generation older than the... it was the one that I had prior to... the one I showed you upstairs. There we go, I know you'll open. It's currently charging because the battery was dead. This one sits here and acts as a print and scan station, because this printer does not connect to more modern computers. This is running... what Mac OS? 10.11. Okay, so that was the version on this, and that's the version that stays there. Alright, oh, there's some personal information there, so if you see a thing blurred out, that is why. I tried to get those off before I started this process, but I missed one. Anyway, so that's what's in the basement. Let's just leave this big mess where it is. I will clean it up myself later. And there's one more room to cover here. So back up the stairs. As I was saying at the beginning, my daily life, normal day for me involves using that System 76 laptop for personal daily things, mail browsing, writing code for the most part. Then this one for video recording, this one for work, that one for other work if you need to. Then in this room over here, this is where I have my game consoles set up. So for Final Fantasy game recording or anything else that I'm doing on a game console, I come over to this room where I have this setup. I'll move my chair in here and sit kind of like this view. So in that display, which is kind of off to the side at a funny angle, but I don't need to use it for too much, that connects to this computer. This is a PC that was built by CyberPower PC back in 2012. This was the first, like, modern, I will call it modern now, modern game-playing computer that I bought running Windows in 2012, and it's still in service, running Windows 7. It has a capture card in the back, lots of cables here. I'm not going to get good lighting here for anything. It's fine, don't worry about it. I don't want to get into the whole thing. But yeah, so that one boots up, captures video from whatever console I'm playing on here, and yeah, so right now PSP has a couple of cables going out that route in a very complicated way. If you are a patron, you have seen a video about this, or at least it's there if you want to see it. Anyway, yeah, so that splits the video, goes to that capture device and this display so I can actually see it, and same for the audio, and captures all that. So that computer, still in service, still does good things. Yeah, so back in 2019 was when I replaced that with the game playing and recording computer in that other room. So, I don't mind, again, all the junk in this room. I have a lot of things collected over the years. These three more computers just kind of sit here in this spot. These are the last three. So this is a Lenovo ThinkCentre something or other. I don't know, ThinkCentre. So it's a little kind of small form factor desktop PC that I used for running Stepmania when I was playing in the groove on that dance pad I showed you down there. So it would connect via USB to this, and that was this computer's sole purpose. Until later I had a game development related need. Leaf's Odyssey was having some graphics issues on Intel HD graphics, and this happened to have an original Intel HD graphics chip in it. I guess this is running Windows 7, yeah, that's what it says there. So it can run software as modern as what I write today. And yeah, this was, I plugged this in and booted it up and did some shader debugging on it to get the things to work. And that was a very handy thing to have around. It did the job great. Intel HD graphics is kind of a meme graphics chip, known as one of the worst of all time. If you have any graphics driver bugs that are exposed by what your code is doing, this chip will show you all of them and completely break because of it. So then next to it, in descending order of size, got this little Dell Optiplex something or other. This was another little computer I purchased, just got it cheap, used to debug a different shader issue that someone else had, also with Leaf's Odyssey. Whoa, okay, well, you took a little fall. All right, again, don't make the mistakes I'm making here. This probably shouldn't be stored in that way. I'm sure it's fine, that was not too destructive. Yeah, I am going to have to do if I'm going to do more videos like this, I will do them differently and more cautiously, so things like that do not happen anymore. Anyway, so this HP ProDesk something or other, just a little tiny thing, very small. This runs Windows 11, because this is the actually only computer I have that runs Windows 11. Tiny little thing. Again, Leafs Odyssey had an issue not related to graphics, but another thing with the system that I needed. Again, just got a cheap little used thing, whatever could run that for me and do the job long enough to be debugged. So anyway, that's not actually every computer that I have in my house. I got a couple of Raspberry Pis for various purposes, and you know, smartphones, tablets, things like that, various things. But that's a basic inventory of the computers that I have. There are lots of retro computing things that I want to do, especially with that LC475 over there that I fixed up, and the 2GS, various things that I'm thinking about that need the hardware to work. So those are the things I have. I don't know what this video is. This is mostly for just me to organize myself and reveal the ways in which I'm clumsy and need to be more careful about certain things. So good to have that information, I guess. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed my blundering here, and maybe you'll see more about these computers at some point. There are some that I could go a lot more in depth with, tell you all sorts of stories about them, but I just wanted to get a summary of what I have and the basic history of it. So, hope you enjoyed this somehow.